Social media. It's something that completely shapes our world, right? We're going to dive into it today. It was built with this incredible idea of connecting us, but as we all know, it's a powerful tool, a real double-edged sword.
And this really just lays it all out, doesn't it? It's like two sides of the same coin. On one hand, you've got all the good stuff, connection, finding your community, giving a voice to people who didn't have one, even starting whole movements. But then you flip it over and you see the dark side, division, feeling totally isolated, just noise everywhere, and of course, misinformation spreading like wildfire. So how can one thing be both of those things at the same time? That's the big question we're tackling.
All right, so let's start with the dream, because it's easy to forget this part. But the original idea behind these platforms, it was incredibly optimistic, almost utopian, you could say. The whole goal was just to build a more connected world. Simple as that.
And the scale of this thing, it's just staggering. We're talking 4.5 billion people. Think about that for a second. That is more than half of everyone on the planet, all plugged into the same global networks. This was the foundation, right? This was the ground floor for that big utopian dream. And this quote, it just nails the original spirit, you know? Back then, it wasn't about algorithms and ad revenue, or at least that wasn't the main point. It was about this really simple but really powerful idea. Give everyone a voice and bring the world closer together. That's it. And for a lot of people, that dream actually became a reality. Think about it. People were finding long-lost relatives they hadn't seen in decades. You could find your tribe, your people, no matter how weird or niche your hobby was, vintage stamp collecting, urban astronomy, you name it. It was a launch pad for massive grassroots movements. It gave this global megaphone to voices that, for most of history, had been completely silenced. It really was like a global village square.
But, well, every tool has two edges. And that beautiful utopian vision, it had a shadow. Because the very same tool that was supposed to build all these bridges, it started digging trenches instead.
Okay, so let's flip the coin and look at that other edge of the sword. How on earth did a tool designed for connection turn into this massive engine for division?
Well, a huge part of the answer starts with this one key idea, the echo chamber. Now, we've all heard that term thrown around, but what does it actually mean? It's basically a closed loop. It's a digital space where you only ever see opinions and information that you already agree with. They just get reflected back at you again and again and again, each time getting a little bit louder, making you a little more certain you're right. So how do these things even form? It's not magic, it's actually pretty mechanical. It all starts with tracking your data, every like, every share, everything you watch. Then the algorithms take that data and they learn what you want to see, what keeps you scrolling. Step 3, they just show you more of that same stuff. And here's the kicker, the final step. Anything that disagrees with you, any dissenting views, they just get filtered out, slowly, quietly, until your whole worldview just starts to shrink.
And this is where the tragic irony really hits home. A tool built for connection seems to be making us feel, well, the opposite. This data is pretty stark. Just look at that jump. For heavy users of social media, feelings of loneliness are almost double what they are for people who don't use it at all. So we're connected to literally billions of people, but we're scrolling through their lives feeling more alone than ever. How does that work?
So what's the result of all this? We've ended up with a world that feels more connected on the surface, but is actually more divided than ever underneath. We've built this huge, amazing network, but we've personalized it so much that we're all just living in our own little bubbles, our own isolated realities. And when our realities barely overlap, empathy, understanding, they tend to disappear.
Okay, I know this all sounds pretty grim. But look, the story isn't over. It's not hopeless. The power doesn't just belong to the platforms. A lot of it is still with us. So for this last part, let's talk about how we can go from just being passive users to actually being conscious participants in our own digital world. This table just lays out the whole conflict, plain and simple. Promise versus peril. The promise of giving everyone a voice can turn into the peril of an echo chamber. The promise of finding your community can lead straight to tribalism. And the amazing promise of instant information, well, that's always under threat from misinformation. When you see it like this, side by side, you really get what's at stake. So what can we actually do about it? Well, we can build our own toolkit for a healthier feed. First off, you have to actively curate what you see. Don't just sit back and let the algorithm decide for you. And a big part of that means, and this is a tough one, following people you respectfully disagree with. It's maybe the best way to pop that bubble. Next, set some time limits. Seriously, your phone has tools for it. Use them. Create some space.
It's also so important to remember that the platform isn't reality. You're seeing the highlight reel, not the behind-the-scenes chaos. And finally, and this might be the most important one, always remember, you are both the customer and the product. It's your attention that's being sold.
Which really brings us to the final big question. And it's one we all have to ask ourselves every single time we open these apps. As we design our digital lives, are we building bridges or are we building walls? The tools are there to do both. What we actually end up building, well, that's on us.